King of Iron Fist Tournament 5, Nina Williams.
Nina Williams, an assassin with no memory of her past. The Syndicate told Nina that Steve Fox was her own son, but Nina felt nothing. Later, the Syndicate fell and left Nina with no purpose. She decided to meet her sister Anna to try to recover her past. But the moment she saw Anna, everything came rushing back. Now it's on. They fought for days. In the end, the sisters agreed to settle their rivalry in the King of Iron Fist Tournament 5.
So, let's forget about the story of Tekken 3 and 4. Amnesia and a son clearly wasn't working. Let's focus on the sibling rivalry again. Yeah, okay. So for me, this is where I truly got a glimpse into the fighting game community. My friends and I were regulars at the arcade to play rhythm games like Dance Dance Revolution. Then one day they moved the Tekken 5 cabinet there as well. Next thing I knew, there was an advertisement for an upcoming tournament. One friend of mine was really interested in learning how to properly play this game for the tournament, and I was there for the ride. This was before the console release of Tekken 5, so we would try and play at the arcade to learn, especially to try to learn to use the arcade stick. At home, we'd play the older Tekkens, including my NTSC version of Tekken 3. That was to try and get used to the speed of the game. Though I was committed to using Paul in the tournament, I accidentally picked Raven in my first game. That really didn't go well. Once the console version released, I played non-stop. I learned about the Tekken Zaibatsu forums, and through countless hours of playing, grasped the fundamentals of fighting games. Oh, hold up, unique character interaction incoming.
So who do you work for?
I have no client at the moment. Who are you?
I have no name. Some call me Raven, the Dark Talon of Death.
I'm Nina. No one who finds out my name lives.
Where was I? Oh yeah, so when the console version came out, Tekken 5 became an escape from some challenging life circumstances, and I would have gotten every character of the Tekken Lord at least 5 times while learning everything I could about the game and how each character worked. Eventually, I was able to find an old Namco arcade stick and use an adapter to make it work on my PlayStation 2, so I could practice stick at home as well as at the arcade. I definitely wasn't great at the game, by any means, but my ability to play wasn't drastically different between each character. I dropped Paul in favour of Asuka, but would have cycled through pretty much every character before finally settling on my main, Mokujin! Okay, so I did actually begin to pick up Nina at this stage. I noticed there was nobody using her in my community, and through learning things with each character, her jab combo had me hooked on learning more about her. For those who don't know the jab combo, it's what's happening on the screen right now. It's the sequence of down forward 3-2 into a sidestep 1, cancelling into up forward 4. As far as I understand, it is called the jab combo because it originated in Japan.
I told you. No one who finds out my name lives. No one.
Well, I guess we won't be seeing Raven again. We also have another mini-boss in Anna, of course.
This time I will kill you.
You don't learn, do you? Well, come on then.
The console release of Tekken 5 was truly the whole package, as well as a story mode with unique character interactions, time attack mode, survival mode, and team battle. They introduced the ranking system for the first time in a Tekken game. There was also a pretty decent platformer called The Devil Within, which is totally worth a playthrough if you haven't tried it. Now, if that wasn't enough, they also gave you access to ports of the arcade versions of Tekken 1, 2 and 3. It literally had multiple modes and multiple versions of Tekken on the one disc. The newcomers to the series were well received, with Asuka Kazama, Feng Wei and Raven. But we also got Devil Jin sporting an updated version of Jin's original fighting style, and the big boss of the game, Jinpachi Mishima. Tekken 5 also saw the return of a lot of characters that had been left out of 3 and 4, such as Bak, Bruce, Ganryu, Wang, and Roger Jr.
Do as you wish.
Anna, you're pathetic. That didn't satisfy me at all. I refuse to kill you.
You bitch!
Oh, that look is priceless.
I've heard a lot of people say that Nina is expressionless and Anna portrays all the emotion in their rivalry. I wouldn't call it friendly emotion from either of them, but that pose, laugh, and gestures showed a lot about her character, right? Anyway, let's look at what's new from Tekken 4. First off, you can see that the move list is of a similar length. We do have a lot of new moves and property changes though. While Tekken 4 had combo suggestions and displayed the name of each move when you used it in practice mode, these features sadly didn't carry over to Tekken 5. I'm going to list each of the new moves, but will only go into as much detail as I can and focus on some of the more significant moves and properties. Otherwise, this video will be an hour long. She gained new strings from her 8-frame jab. This means a new 10-frame punish and extensions. These can be used for wall carry, a wall hit, or a risky mix-up. Her standing 3 and 4 can now transition into an invasive roll, followed by sidestep 1+2 if you like. We first see Siren's Kiss, one of the MVP moves in this game. It's a long-range 14-frame high that is plus 14G on block, and due to how it knocks down, a launch on both normal hit and counter hit. It doesn't jail, so you're taking a risk to rely heavily on this, but at plus 14 on block, your opponent has no choice but to be trapped in your pressure afterward. Nina gets her double whip, however this version is minus on both block and hit. It doesn't feel very delayable either. Seeker's combo is pretty risky with the second hit and the last hit being launch punishable. The deadly strings seem pretty good at first glance, as they're coming from a 13-frame mid. Unlike future versions, the first two hits are not a natural combo, Shockwave Palm is a slow, punishable mid. Nothing is guaranteed on hit as far as I'm aware. Blaze Stinger, the infamous up forward 1. Where do I start with this move? This is the one that everyone always talks about for Tekken 5 Nina, and it is pretty crazy. Its long range allowed Nina to bypass neutral in the game a lot of the time, though at -9 it could get punished, but minimally. On hit you force crouch and a +9 to do as you please. But its usage in combos is often where people discuss it more. It does the same damage as a blonde bomb and juggles, while also giving absurd ogi. Effectively, the opponent had to guess between you doing a stomp for a ton of damage, or risk being floated by a down 4-1 and put back into the same situation. A vortex, if you will. This meant that her combo damage was generally whatever you saw, plus a stomp. Can opener can now be cancelled with a sidestep after the second kick. Nina got her X kick, which is kind of like a slow orbital but punishable and only launches on counter hit. She's regretfully lost her old forward 2, but gained one with a pretty cool animation at least. And lastly we've got Hellbringer. This is a mid normal hit launcher which is only -10 on block. Flips them over on hit and awkwardly crouching opponents are launched in a different way, not allowing great follow-ups. Kind of annoying if you're counting on the whole mid-launcher thing. Ivory Cutter went from being +1 to -9 on block and +13 to +7 on hit, but it did gain counter hit properties, and the second hit will knock down on a crouching opponent. Creeping Step is now +1 on block and +2 on hit instead of being neutral. Additionally, you can now sidestep cancel it into anything, and it still jails. Down 4 has gone back to being a low instead of a special mid. That was a silly change in Tekken 4, wasn't it? Wipe the floor no longer needs a clean hit to knock down, and on counter hit it'll give you a launch. Seems pretty fair for a move that's minus 40 on block, right? Skull Splitter is now back forward 1 and will launch on counter hit. Lift Shot has gone from minus 16 to minus 12 and now it launches on normal hit. Healer Slicer is now a counter hit launcher. As I said before, Creeping Step still jails. Woohoo! The down back 3 version of Geyser Cannon is still minus 10 and still has absurd pushback. The back forward 3 version of Spider Knee is still minus 14, but has its absurd pushback.
Get ready for the next battle.
よくぞここまでたどり着いたな。わしの名は三島陣八。わしの目的は全ての破壊。
If there was ever a final boss to rage at, it should be this guy. He has a full screen stun that he can do at any time that guarantees him another full screen stun, or anything else he chooses. Boss character privilege at its finest, but that's why he isn't playable without cheats, I guess. Let me just do my own cheapies against him. Many people consider Tekken 5.0's version of Nina to be the strongest she has been, and maybe ever will be. Don't get me wrong, she's a force to be reckoned with, but I think that the popularity of the title has helped people disregard her presence in Tekken 4. As you'd expect, she's continued to become a more rounded character, and strong in both of these games due to a few tools that are strong well beyond the rest. If you put Tekken 4 Nina and Tekken 5 Nina in the same room, Tekken 5 Nina would win. But in the context of the two games, I think there are some arguments for each.
It was nothing. Goodbye.
Get ready for the next battle.
Rising from the ashes like a phoenix, Tekken version 5.2 feels like a whole new game, and it was even given the title of Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection. The flame decor is everywhere, and Jinpachi took the theme seriously. Like, why is he on fire now? This update came with a multitude of balance changes and flipped everyone to be wearing the alternate colours for their outfits. It was simple, yet an awesome way to make the game seem fresh. It also introduced the new characters Sergei Dragunov and Lily Rochefort, as well as bringing back Armor King. Well, Armor King 2. By the time Dark Resurrection was out, I was probably at the arcade a few times a week and was on the Tekken Zaibatsu forums every single day. For some reason, the Tekken 5 DR cabinet was coming through Christchurch and was there for about 2 or 3 days at one of the smaller arcades attached to a movie theatre. I saw it and played, reporting on the forums everything I could about Dragunov and Lily. I thought Lily was a fun character and considered using her for a while. Once the game was properly out in our town, this is when I can officially say that Nina was my main character. So what's changed for Nina in DR? She got reverse ivory cutter, a high damage I-16 launcher, great for punishment and after low parries. Also, Ice Pick for a slower, lower risk option for whiff punishment. Ray Hands now gives a breakable stun on counter hit. If they don't hold forward, you can use any launcher really to launch them for a ton of damage. Spear Kick is now plus 18 on counter hit, making it technically a lower risk counter hit launcher compared to Siren's Kiss, and granting you a free reverse ivory cutter. At most ranges at least. But there are other great options, such as Blonde Bomb or Siren's Kiss, which still guarantee a chunk of damage. And Shut Up has gone from minus 14 to minus 10 on block. Right, that's it for the buffs. Now, the nerfs. Well, Ivory Cut is now safe, but the frame advantage on hit and counter hit is much less. Also, they removed the knockdown on the second hit against a crouching opponent for some reason. Siren's Kiss went from being plus 14g on block to plus 6, but maybe more significant is the knockdown on normal hit meaning it's no longer a launcher. it is still a counter-hit launcher at least. Creeping Snake no longer jails, making it a huge risk to throw out compared to before. Wipe the Floor is no longer a counter-hit launcher, just a -40 knockdown low. Blaze Stinger has been completely removed, becoming a mythical move in the process. Upward 1 is now the input for Skull Splitter. Remember how cool it was that Geyser Cannon had a down back 3 input which was safer and had more pushback? Yeah, that's gone. Spider Knee has kept its back forward 3 input, but the pushback is now the same as while standing 3. Dark Resurrection had a few different releases. First the arcade release, then PlayStation Portable, then finally on PlayStation 3 as well. I had it on my PlayStation Portable, and while working as a pizza delivery driver, I'd be in the back room practicing. The PlayStation 3 version was the first to have online play, but its digital release came out in Japan and Korea before anywhere else. With a few tricks up my sleeve, I actually managed to get the Japanese version, and the private messages on Tekken Zaibatsu came flooding in asking how, and if I'd helped them get it. There were some pretty big names at the time asking, but that's all been wiped from the internet now. The PlayStation 3 release was also the first time that Jinpachi became a playable character, though he is but a remnant of his powers from Tekken 5.0. Speak of the devil, or demon, or whatever he is. If there's one thing I can complain about, it's too fiery red and orange on this stage with this boss. I really hope they don't bring something forward to this. I mean, imagine Tekken 7 if there was too much orange and red. As I said earlier, Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection felt like an entirely new game to me, and some of my best memories of the series are from this game. I know that this version of Nina is much weaker compared to her in Tekken 4 and Tekken 5.0, but the new moves and buffs we did receive here have been ever present and some of her key moves ever since. As we watch the character evolve, we see individual moves get toned down or occasionally removed, but we often see other moves, sometimes multiple, rise up to help fill in the gaps. I would personally prefer that over having 1 or 2 moves that outshine the rest. Shaping the character in this way is also better for player expression and more exciting for viewers to watch. So, keep that in mind too. I hope you've enjoyed my retrospective look at Tekken 5 and Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection.
It was nothing. Goodbye.
Cut. What a great take. Great. Oh, that was the best one. I knew what I was doing when I gassed you. Great. Could someone get Anna a bottle of water, please?
Thanks.
Let's go make a